Greetings, people of Earth. I am Gibberish Prime, and today, this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time since I first started the channel. My collection of Hasbro comics, aka Transformers, G.I. Joe, Cobra Commander, and Scarlet. I might get Duke, Destro, and the new G.I. Joe stuff later on. But right now, this is the collection that I have. Not counting the two volumes of the manga. Cool? Cool. Let's get this book and done with the introductions of each book, one by one. First one on our list, Transformers Generation 1 Prime Directive by Dreamwave Productions. Now, this book right here, it's something I've been wanting to get for a very long time, and it was actually something a friend of my dad's got for me. Her name is Nora Brown, and Nora, if you're watching this, I just want to thank you for this comic and the other comic. I'll be showing a little bit. This right here, let's see. Time for a brief history on the Transformers franchise real quick. Transformers was originally a toy line in Japan called Diaclone, where it was small human figurines piloting vehicles that transformed into giant robots. Hasbro executives loved that and decided to bring it to the United States, or the West, more accurately. And they partnered up with Marvel. They got writer Bob Budiansky, or Budiansky, whichever pronunciation works. And he wrote basically most of the character bios for the Season 1 and Season 2 characters, since it was a toy line first and cartoons and comics second. The original 1984 cartoon, which lasted from 1984 to 1987, was made by Marvel Productions and Senbo Animation. And until Season 3 changed animation studios because Senbo were working on the movie. And Marvel actually let me rephrase that real quick. Marvel actually made the first 80 issues. The first 40 were made by Bob Budiansky himself. Well, the other 40 were made by Simon Furman, who was making the Transformers comics in the UK for Marvel's UK division. Later on, during the early 90s, they made Transformers Generation 2, which was just the original G1 toys, but with different paint jobs. There was Generation 2 cartoon, which was kind of bad, basically the old G1 episodes, but with turbo CGI transitioning. And they also made a G2 comic, which lasted only 12 issues, and it was made by Furman himself. Yeah. Anyway, let's bring our story back to 2001, or into 2001. When Pat Lee and his brother Robert, I think that was his name, I'm not so sure, made Dreamwave Productions, and Dreamwave, they've made their own original comic called Dark Minds, which was basically all the old anime tropes and all that, but into a singular comic. Imagine like Akira, but about cops instead of millionaires. And in an issue of Wizard magazine, it was where you get information about the newest comic, newest toys, and all that, before the internet was a big thing, and before YouTube. Pat Lee actually made a drawing of the Transformers, and then made an announcement that he wouldn't draw Transformers for any other company except his own, which is Dreamwave, and Hasbro decided to go through with them. Now, there has been lots of legal issues at Dreamwave, but we're not going to go through that in this video. So right now, it's this bad boy right here, Transformers. In the back, it says Transformers Generation 1. You can pause the video, go up to here, and here, if you want to read the summary. And let's see, there has to be something around here. Ah, yes, the subtitle. Prime Directive collects issues 1 through 6 of the Dreamwave series. It also contains the first 6-page preview, a complete cover gallery, and an 8-page preview of Volume 2. The Dreamwave logo, the Hasbro logo, and there's Megatron in the background. You see, there has been like some legal issues at Dreamwave. I'm not gonna say that some artists didn't get the proper credit they deserved, but that's for later books. And here, let's see. Everything in this book was all drawn by Pat Lee himself. And the writer was, let's see, Brad Mick. I believe that was a pseudonym for another guy. I don't remember correctly. And the story of this book is that the Transformers are back. Like they returned to Earth. There's some human terrorists. This guy called Lazarus was mind controlling the Autobots and Decepticons to do terrorist attacks. And it's up to Optimus Prime and his new group of Autobots, which are some of the G1 guys, to save the day. It's pretty good, and I'll show you guys some of the artwork real quick. Here's a 2-page spread of Devastator. And Devastator is a combiner robot made up of 5 to 6 separate different robots called the Constructicons, Decepticon sub-team. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you're a Transformers fan. If not, oh boy, I have a lot of explaining to do. This is only one of the things drawn by Pat Lee. And his artwork is pretty good at the time. Kind of like anime, seriously. I wouldn't be surprised. If you told me this was a screenshot of a Transformers anime that got cancelled, I wouldn't think you were lying. I think you were telling the truth. Megatron ordering his Decepticons, more accurately the Seekers. There he is, being big and menacing. Here are the Seekers of Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker. And look, they're playing with Bumblebee's head. Because in this book, yeah, after Megatron got out of his mind control, him and his Decepticons kind of killed the Autobots. That's what I'm assuming anyway with this page. And yeah, I don't hate Bumblebee, but just seeing him dead brings a smile to my face. I could just be crazy. Hey, who knows? And the artwork here, as you can see, it's not that bad. It's pretty good. Megatron being big and commanding again. Look at it. It's just Megatron. Heck, when I'm reading this, I imagine Frank Welker playing Megatron. And Peter Cullen playing Optimus Prime. And look, the chain is up. He's chaining up a human as a pet. And it's the Lazarus guy right here. The terrorist that had the Transformers under mind control. That's something of interest. And time to go forward a few pages. In these pages, the narrative boxes are being narrated by Optimus Prime. I'm going to show the lines, but look. Trailbreaker holding up Devastator's foot right here. He's having some issue until he's crushed by Devastator. There's Sunstreaker and Sideswipe going ready for action. And then Optimus the frickin' Prime standing tall, ready to fight. And yeah, Pat Lee's artwork, as good as it is, it has an issue because he made Prime's lower legs bigger than his arms. I don't know if that's a thing in human anatomy. I mean, the Transformers aren't human. They're giant robots from another planet called Cybertron. Run with the factions of Autobots, Decepticons, there's the Predacons, Maximals, but those last two came during the Beast Wars era, before the 90s. It's we don't worry about. And Optimus Prime getting ready for action. Look at this artwork. And he transforms and drives right into Devastator. He drives off, transforms to robot mode, crashes into Devastator, pulls out his ion blaster, and BAM! Blasts him in the face. Oh yeah. That's some of the artwork of Transformers Generation 1 by Dreamwave. And this is one of my favorite comics thus far in my collection. It goes up there with Action Comics #1. And time for the others. The next one I'm going to show you is Transformer Spotlight Orion packs, made by IDW, which held the Transformers comic book license for the longest amount of time, from 2005 to 2019. Or was it 2020? I genuinely don't remember. But yeah, this is a single issue, and hold on, I have to get rid of the flash from my hand. Got it. And by the cover, it was an Hasbro exclusive cover, because this came with the Trilling 30 Orion Pax action figure. I am not joking. And for those who don't know, or for those who watched the newest movie, Orion Pax is actually Optimus Prime's first name. What he was called originally, before the Matrix of Leadership chose him and he became Optimus Prime. This comic, it's pretty good. It was made by IDW when they still had the license. The back, well, look at it, there's nothing in there. Except for the Hasbro and IDW logos. And, well, time to get an upper look. Let's see. This comic is a single issue, up to 20 pages at most. And time to show the artwork. Right here, just give me a minute, everyone. Orion Pax is strapped to a rocket and flying downwards. Omega Conundrum. That's the name of the story. It's basically a concept of if you close the door and you don't check on something, is it still there? Quite a philosophical. I can't talk right now. Philosophical. Somebody correct me in the comments or find the word I'm trying to use. There's Orion right here and his new body. Here's Wheeljack looking. And he looks more like, let me just wait for the camera to focus. For God's sake. Here we go. Wheeljack looks more like his toy counterpart and how he's supposed to be in the canon of the comics right now. But that's still pretty cool. Orion Pax has his more G1 looking body. Well, in other stories he had more like a Cybertronian build that more resembles the Optimus Prime form. Here's Rung, and small spoiler if you haven't read the IDW Transformers comics. I read most of them digitally. Rung is actually Primus with amnesia. Primus being the whole Transformers god that transforms his body into their planet of Cybertron, creates a Transformer race. This guy right here is Zeta Prime. He's the evil guy. Well, he's evil in Transformers Autocracy, Monstrosity, and Primacy. A trilogy of origin stories, really. And the artwork is really good here. More pages here. Just need to go a few more. Here's Nightbeat, Omega Fortress Maximus in his flying fortress mode. God, you stupid flag. And here's the one only wisest sage of them all, Alpha Trion. He's covered in red for some reason, I don't know why. And something interesting about the IW continuity is that their version of Cybertron, it doesn't have just the Transformers, it has a bunch of other life forms too, like these guys right here. The Splicers, I have no clue what they're called. I generally forgot, really. Something around those lines. There's Orion getting ready to shoot and open fire at them. And let's see, Rack and Ruin. They're twins. They're more prominently shown in Transformers Cyberverse. Saskin twins, but in here they're like former Decepticons that defected the Autobots. That's something. Orion sympathizes with them about the Decepticon cause, like he says he did sympathize. No, he does sympathize. And then the Decepticon base. There's Thundercracker and his War for Cybertron video game design, because, you know, brain synergy and all that. And then there's this guy right here, Bludgeon. Now, he's more iconically shown as like a giant Robo Samurai Skeletor. But here he's more like a beamed up bot. Yeah. Here are the pages where Orion Pax is tied up to the rocket, right here. He tries to stall for time, talking to Bludgeon, but it doesn't work well, and he gets shot up to space. Well, out to space, they shoot him so he'd crash into Iacon, one of Cybertron's capital cities. And he moves out of the way just in time, moving the rocket up and downwards, and it crashes. And look, he picks up a broken plate, puts it on his face, creating the Optimus Prime look. And hold on, let me use both hands. A promotion for Transformers Autocracy. And that's how Orion looks in that story. And Autocracy is where chronologically he becomes Optimus the frickin' Prime. An advertisement for More Than Meets the Eye. The IEW Transformers comics app, which I'm pretty sure got defunct. And yeah, a good book for the IEW verse. But I gotta lie, pretty cool, pretty awesome, well written. And wait, hold on, let me see who the writer is real quick. Story by James Robertson. Okay, James Robertson. Not bad, pretty good story. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get your helmets, your ninja swords, and your snakes, because time to about the G.I. Joe! Yo, Joe! Now, this isn't the new G.I. Joe comics that Cobra Commander connects to. These are Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the Larry Hama comics, or I like to call them the Hamaverse. Larry Hama has been writing the G.I. Joe comics since the original Marvel days, when Hasbro were licensing out their toy lines. Lines to Marvel to make comics about, like Micronauts, more famously Transformers and G.I. Joe. And surprisingly enough, G.I. Joe lasted longer than Transformers, going up to 150 issues. That's quite impressive, actually. It got all written by Larry Hama himself. And he's been writing this, he's probably going to write this until he's like in his 90s or something. Okay, because this collects issues 300 to 305. This one collects issues 306 to 312. Yeah, they've been doing this. You might be confused about why it's up to 300, since the Marvel run lasted up to 150. Well, at IEW, Hasbro and Marvel made a deal to continue Larry Hama's original work. And it brought the G.I. Joe Real American Hero, lasting up to issues 151 to 299. So, yeah. I'm not gonna go too deep into this book, mainly because G.I. Joe's not my thing. Transformers is. I only like the characters from G.I. Joe. But long story short, there's like a whole Cobra civil war between Serpentor and Cobra Commander. And Serpentor kind of bombed the Cobra Island with a mutant toxin that mutates most of the people that were on the island into Cobra people. And here's another thing, okay? I'm gonna show this in volume 1 real quick. Hold on. Stupid fly, go away. Right here, volume 1, G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. There's Serpentor, she's calling this book Serpentor Khan. And here's the thing, Serpentor Khan reminds me of Shao Kahn. You know, the Mortal Kombat big bad boss from games 2 to 3 to MK9. But the fun thing about it is that there's a 2-page introduction to G.I. Joe, showing you the world of the Joes as we know it, and Cobra Commander with his cartoon design, where he yells, Cobra! That's a bad Chris Latta impression. I'm sorry, I'm trying. But let's see. In this book, Snake Eyes talks, and he's the mute guy. I mean, it's a comic book. Not much. There's a villain called Revenge, and the artwork right here. I'm gonna have the camera focus on this. And the art, all of it, it's pretty good. And here's Cobra Commander. Flies. He's in the town of Springfield, which is basically Cobraville. Not Springfield like The Simpsons. In Springfield, oh, it kind of is. This Springfield's more like a military group. Think of like the Soviet Union, but with more fuel. A funeral about one of their comrades. Yeah, when I first read this, I was pretty confused because this is, in all honesty, this right here is my first physical G.I. Joe comic with the title of G.I. Joe. And it's a continuation of a bunch of 299 other issues. Oh yeah, I might probably find those volumes on like eBay or Amazon. But yeah, that's about it. And look at the Cobra mutants. Yikes. Serpentor Khan looking mutated and stuff. Not mutated. Let me just go a few pages back. Right here, there's Zartan talking with Destro and the Baroness. Destro right here, the Baroness right there. And fun fact, these two are actually a couple. Another fun fact, the Baroness was actually a creation of Larry Hama, which was also put into the toy line and the cartoons. It's nice. And another little spoiler, this Zartan right here, the Cobra's Master of Disguise, isn't the actual Zartan. This is an android that Serpentor had made. Right here, Serpentor's weird. And yeah, this is basically volume 1. Not gonna show volume 2's artwork since it's basically the same. And the main focus on these books is there's a Cobra civil war going on between Serpentor's guys and Cobra Commander's guys. And yeah, that's about it for the most part. It's like the Joes are second fiddle in their own comic. Vic and Cobra are the main characters. Weird. Anyway, on to the new stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, bisexuals and bi people or trans people or whatever. I meant to say trans, not bi. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the whole new terms thing. Anyway, allow me to introduce to you to the Energon universe, starting with Transformers Volumes 1 and 2, Cobra Commander Volume 1, and Scarlet Volume 1. Now, the Energon universe is something amazing. Like, it's more realistic take on each of the characters. Not realistic, because, giant alien robots from another planet fighting to the death. A guy from a side of Secret Snake people. and some chick with military background. But it's really, really good. Transformers, written by Daniel Warren Johnson. Cobra Commander, written by Joshua Williams, and Scarlet, written by... Hold on, let's see the writer right here. Kelly Thompson. Okay then. These comics are amazing. If you want to get into reading Transformers, G.I. Joe, and all that, this is where to go, right here. I'm going to start with Transformers Volume 1. Actually, these two were a gift from my mom when she was in Dubai. And Scarlet and the G.I. Joe comics were actually also gifts from her, with Flash of the New 52. I'll talk about that book some other day. But anyway, this is the Energon universe. I almost said G.I. Joe universe. But no, the Energon universe. That's really important because Energon is really, really valuable right now in this continuity. Anyway, here's Optimus the frickin' Prime, Alita 1, Cobra Commander, and Scarlet. Now, let me just show you the artwork. Transformers Volume 1. Autobot, Decepticon. Come here, you. Yeah, in this continuity, when the Transformers crash landed on Earth, they got really badly damaged. Like, badly damaged. Anyway, in this book, we meet Spike Wiki, we meet his dad, Sparkplug. I think that's what he's called. That's what he was called in the original G1 cartoon, anyway. And Spike's girlfriend, Carly. Flying. Yeah, they meet up they encounter the Autobots right here. This part right here is where Optimus Prime tells Spike about the lineage of the Prime, Cybertron, the war for Cybertron. Right here is our tease of Megatron before we get to see him in Cobra Commander. Let me just... For the love of... Hold on, let me just try something real quick. Here's Starstream killing some pilot guy. I'm called Frostlink. And then his Frostlink's body ejects out of the jet, revealing to be Duke. And this is for the Energon universe. Basically a comic book version of a cinematic universe. Where is it? Where the page I just started to see the Transformers. With Optimus Prime being a badass, fighting off Decepticons and saving humans. Trying to help Spike Wiki and Carly give Optimus his gun, and he then goes on the warpath against the Decepticons. But where is it? Alright, Ratchet, nobody likes you. Oh, for the love of... I can't find it, so I'm just going to tell you that, let's see, the Decepticons do a bloodbath, massacre some humans. The humans of the town start to go against the Transformers, believing all of them to be evil. Optimus Prime gets badly wounded. Spike gets shot by Skywarp. Spike's dad thinks Optimus is going to kill him. But Optimus transforms into his truck mode and says, I'm going to save your boy. And boom, they go to a hospital. Starstream attacks it. The hospital, and chaos and hijinks ensue. The Transformers the Autobots save the day. The Decepticons go retreating like cowards. Spike wakes up from his coma. And oh, here's another thing. Optimus Prime used the power of the Matrix of Leadership to put the hospital's generators back online and give it power. And when Optimus was going to die in this story, Spike's dad was like, Nope, you saved my son. I'm going to help you guys too. And walks into the Matrix of Leadership, becoming the Energon to power it up. And then Spike wakes up from his coma and asks where his dad is. Which leads us into Volume 2, baby! Woo! The Transformers, more than meets the eye. They're full of desperation, and the little one is a bitch. Yeah, but no joke. I kind of wonder in this book, Little One, this robot right here. He's basically Optimus Prime's girlfriend and second in command. She's kind of a jerk in this book, and I understand why. She's desperate. Cybertron's low on energon. Most of the Autobots are dying because Shockwave is commanding the Decepticons on Cybertron. Yeah, I mean, hold on. There we go. I'm gonna show you guys a quick sample page. Here's Shockwave fighting Optimus Prime with sumo moves. Here's that. Good. The Combaticons getting ready to go to a portal. The little one. This guy right here. Oh, for the love of. Yeah, long story short, the guy you saw with the little one was actually Ultra Magnus. And remember when I told you guys about Optimus Prime? I'm having to use the Matrix on the hospital and Sparkplug or Spike Star, whatever he's called in this continuity. And the Energon for it. Well, here's the thing. It kind of gives Optimus Spike the memories of Spike's father, giving him these visions. And oh, here's the thing. Here's the thing that got lots of people riled up, and that made lots of memes and fan artwork. Optimus Prime having Megatron's gun arm. Okay, story-wise, it makes sense. Optimus had to use his arm to fight off against Devastator. And he found Megatron's arm in the wreckage. Wait a minute, no. Okay, honestly, Optimus Prime had to use his arm against Skywarp. Not Devastator, Skywarp. And at the end of the hospital attack, well, not the hospital attack, a different attack, Optimus uses foots on Megatron's arm and says, "How you like to go on the offensive?" Here's the Nemesis, the Decepticon warship. That's pretty big. Soundwave's in command of the Decepticons now, because in Volume 1, Starscream kind of became an idiot. Because of the opening of the book, Starscream lost Soundwave. Here's Scarlet, Spike's girlfriend, the little one being a jerk. RC just chilling right here. And yeah, Little One's kind of in a desperate mood since she's really, really pissed off. And she's just desperate, okay? Here's Cybertron collapsing onto Earth. Yeah. I can't show everything since, believe me, if I could show you guys everything, I would. So I'm not going to go through with my vocal iterations. Okay, my descriptions. You just have to go with my descriptions, okay? Cobra Commander, I already spoke about that. Cobra Commander, my very first video. I'll leave a link to it in the description right now. Cobra Commander, you're out of the count. Okay, this is Scarlet. Her name's Shanna O'Hara. I don't know if I'm recording this right. Because, look, this is a re-recording because I may or may not have recorded the rest. Anyway, this is Storm Shadow in the Energon universe. Take focus here. This is Storm Shadow. He's a cool, badass ninja. He looks cool. In this book, Scarlet and Jinx are implied to be good friends or friends with benefits, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, judge. Scarlet's some military girl who lost her best friend Jinx during a mission that takes place 2 years back. Energon Universe time. She teams Stalker and Snowdrop help her go to Japan. She reunites with Jinx. Carter becomes a member of Chicago, and her first mission is to retrieve the Sword of Life from the hands of Cobra, where they're still hunting down Energon. Yes, I don't know if I said that before or not, or if I actually recorded this, but yeah, here you go. If this is your second time hearing me ramble on about this book, I'm sorry. Okay? I'm telling you to hold the video making stuff. And for the love of... Where is it? Where? Show me the page. Or at least a flash. Hey, Tommy, nobody likes you. Ah, there it is. Phew, the flashback panels. Basically, Scarlet and Jinx being buddy-buddy, best friend BFFs. Yeah, that's... And the artwork is not that bad, honestly. Pretty good, pretty good. Reminds me, for some reason, this artwork... Focus, camera, focus! Oh, for the love of God, I didn't bother. No, no. Just focus! Hold on. I'm gonna leave it like this. Yeah, I honestly have no clue. The camera just doesn't want to work for some reason. Anyway, the artwork is not that bad. Reminds me of John Romita Sr.'s work. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is my Hasbro era collection. I don't know what's wrong with the camera. It just doesn't want to focus for some reason. Anyway, they're all pretty good. If you want new reading recommendations, I recommend reading the books in the Energon universe. They're the new releases. They're at good prices. And seriously, why doesn't the camera want to focus? Somebody please tell me why, and I'll pin your comment. I'll give you a like, anything. Anyway, here's, if you're a G.I. Joe fan of Larry Hama, you can read these two comics. For Transformers, just anything goes. And that's all. Gibbous Prime out. Seriously, I need to fix this camera, man.